Okay, today's lessons is on jobs and some major considerations you might want to think of as you're entering into the choices of which. In the past lessons, we've talked about decisions and goals, etc. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about major considerations when you look at careers and jobs. And in the future lessons, we're going to go into and say, once you have that job, well, how do you act in that job to not get yourself fired? Okay, before we go on, I do want to make a little note that I just thought of. Possibly one of your biggest considerations, obviously we're going to go into public, private, entrepreneurs, job satisfaction, all that sort of thing. Probably one of your biggest considerations is choosing a career and choosing a sub-job that you're good at. So many other things fall into place when you're doing something that you're good at. How do you know if you're good at something? Well, you can fulfill all the requirements of the job and you look around at other people who do the job and you're like, wow, I'm better than them. Being good at something opens up so many doors and so many choices. So, you can try to pick a job, but in the end, picking a job at something that you're good at is really, really, really a good idea in most of the cases because it just opens doors. All right, the first thing to consider is some nightmares to avoid. We've talked about nightmares, and when I categorize something as a nightmare, and that means it's unavoidable and it will derail your goals, okay? A nightmare is something you can't push through, right? You just can't get into it. So let's talk about 3 major nightmares when doing with a job, so you should check these out. Number 1. If you don't have enough motivation, interest, or desire, okay, this is a nightmare because it's going to be very difficult to spend years and years at a thing with little interest and desire. If you're doing a job and you have no motivation, interest, or desire, the only reason you're doing it for money. And money will give you about 5 years, give or take 10, 20%. Once again, money as a motivation is going to give you about 5 years, give or take, and then it's going to be real difficult and you're going to be living in a nightmare. So whatever you decide to do as a job, you gotta have an interest in it, a desire, or some sort of motivation, okay? Just even a little. And if you don't, it is not a long-term job. It's just something that you're using where you are, okay? Because it's not sustainable. So you have to have enough. You don't have to have a lot of motivation, interest, or desire, but you just have to have enough, and definitely not 0 or negative. A second nightmare is an aptitude and ability, okay? It is the 100% truth that some people want to do something and they're not good at it. And no matter how much they train for it, they won't be good at it. Look, you can do better than you ever thought possible. But sometimes there's just certain things will never be good enough to make enough money to survive on, okay? That's just the facts. Like, I'm really good enough at a lot of things, but even I know that there are certain things that no matter how much I trained, I could not make money doing it. That's being real. And if you think that doesn't apply to you in certain things, I would love to talk to you because you will be the only human in history that could be good enough at everything to earn money, okay? We have to be real and just accept and find out, is that thing we want to do? Can we get good enough to earn money? Okay, so a nightmare is trying to chase something that is just impossible. Finally, there's a cost to train. Like, this is a very sad reality of the world, that some of us are not in the position to pay enough to train for something we might be motivated and have a desire, and we might be darn good enough to do it, but we might just not be able to find any way to afford to train for it. This is heartbreaking. Emoji heartbroken. That you could be good at something, you could do what you love, but you don't have enough money to train. Now, it's worth it to spend some money to train for something. Easily. 1 year's worth of salary, you can go into debt 1 year's worth of salary to train for something. That's totally possible. And if it's the best opportunity in your life, if you're really gonna be great at something and you so want to do it, I'd even be okay with going more than 1 year's worth of salary into debt if you're super good at it and you really want to do it. But there's just some things where it just costs too much to enter into the field, and you will never get out of that debt. It's all very personable, but I am telling you, it could be a nightmare, especially if you're going to spend a lot of money to train for something that doesn't pay a lot. It's a nightmare. You'll never get out from under it. You will go bankrupt. And if it happened to be student loans that you took, you can't even get out of them through bankruptcy. A 21-year-old, I'm sorry, a 19 or 20-year-old can put them into debt for life. And not even bankruptcy will get them out of that debt. Does that sound too harsh? Because you could make that mistake, and that's why we call it a nightmare. And bankruptcy ain't going to get you out of that. Be careful. Okay, I'd like to talk about the idea and the concept of a dream job. It's a good concept to have in your mind, okay? Now, some of you are definitely not thinking of a dream job. You're really just thinking of job as a way to get money to fulfill the other goals in your life, which is totally fine. And some of you are paralyzed because all your hopes and your dreams for your life are taken up by hoping and wanting to get a dream job that fulfills everything in your life. And I would say that the best way to look at it is right in the middle, okay? A job should be fulfilling, maybe not the dream, but it should be fully fulfilling, but it shouldn't be the fulfillment. Oh, that's a good quote. A job should be fulfilling, but it shouldn't be the fulfillment of your hopes and your dreams, okay? So it's kind of right in the middle. And one of the reasons we don't want to think of something as a dream job is because dream jobs are like unicorns. They just don't exist, okay? You know, most of us, the best we can do is a horse in a Halloween mask with a horn on it, or something like that. It's like a unicorn. It's good enough. It's like, you could totally fool your 4-year-old niece or something and be like, there's a unicorn, but nah, it's just a horse with a horn mask on it, okay? It's reality. It's not a make-believe of fairyland with rainbows coming out of every equestrian's hindquarters, all right? It's like reality, which is a good enough job that's really kind of good, and it's not necessarily a dream job, but it definitely fulfills a lot of things, okay? Here's a inspiring statement. You most likely won't have it all right away. And possibly you'll never have a job that fulfills everything at the same time. But that doesn't mean you can't have it all, just at different stages of your career. That's not my idea. We'll watch a video. All of these ideas come from a video I saw on the YouTube probably. And we'll watch it because the idea is stellar. And if it truly is his idea, good for him. It's good. It's so good, we'll actually watch him say it. And I won't take any credit for it. So some of the things that he says, and I'll note some of the things that are mine. It probably won't be your first job, your dream job. It probably won't be your first one. Now, I will say my reasoning for that is because, you know what? People with better experience and people who are better than you at it will have it. Okay? They're going to get the dream job because they've been doing things for 10 or 15 years and they're just better at it than anyone's first job, you know? It's almost guaranteed that someone doing something for 10 or 15 years is better than a 23-year-old coming into the job market for the first time. So they're gonna get the better jobs on average, okay? So your dream job probably won't be your first, but then eventually you're gonna be the person with the experience. You're gonna be better at it, okay? You're gonna be the desired one when you apply, so you can pick and choose. Perfection, is it the enemy of good? I think this is his idea too, right? Don't get caught up in looking for the perfect. Just get out there, get a job, get the experience, learn from it. Your first job, your first few years, you don't have to be there for life. It is much better to just get out there and start doing things and learn from it and then move on. Mine. We always want to pursue a better job, some of us. Yes, that's an idea, but be careful. Does pursuing a better keep you from enjoying the now? This is 100% my idea. Is happy binary? Are you happy or are you unhappy, right? So even people who would say they're unhappy in their job, well, they can still find things to enjoy it. Happiness doesn't have to be an on switch and off switch, okay? So it's a better idea to say, well, this job I don't 100% enjoy and I want to find a better one, but I am not off on the unhappy. Because when you get to another job, that it is not the true that immediately you will switch to happy. Happy is not on off. Happy is a spectrum. And once you realize happy is a spectrum, you can then say, all right, well, I'm in general not too thrilled with this, but I can enjoy certain parts of it. So while you are young and working in a job you're not too thrilled with certain aspects of it, you can still enjoy the now. It's a very Buddhist principle, okay? You can still enjoy the now and still try to have goals and change your job and grow in your job, okay? I would recommend that. Back to the guy's ideas. He says there's a triangle of job satisfaction. One is the money, one is the lifestyle, and one is the satisfaction you get from the job. We disagree with a couple of the things here, but I like his idea of money, lifestyle, and satisfaction. He will be saying that it's very difficult to have all three. That is truly the dream job. A job that pays you lots of money. Money while you work and enough for retirement. A job that satisfies you. Every single day you're going in and satisfied. There's meaningfulness. There's respect from other people. There's fulfillment, pride, low stress, and room for growth, satisfaction. And finally, the lifestyle. That you get to live where you want, work where you want, a schedule that you like, the hours, the stress again, and the commute traveling to your job. It's very easy to get one of these. Because jobs that have intense money usually sacrifice lifestyle and satisfaction. Jobs that have a lot of satisfaction, meaningful, lots low stress, a lot of respect, well, they don't pay a lot. Jobs that, you live on the beach, you only work whenever you want to work. They don't usually pay a lot. It's just the fact of our current U.S. system that these three things are tough to get. You have to be the best of the best to get these. And even so, sometimes you won't even be able to get all three. And the number one amazing thing that this guy says is you can focus on different aspects of these at different points of your life. You can work for the money for a few years, and then you can work for the satisfaction, and then you can work for the lifestyle, right? So we expect that we can have a job close to retirement that's awesome in lifestyle. And maybe during retirement we can have satisfaction, and maybe in the beginning we can have money. My recommendation, because of compound interest in the time value of money, my recommendation, if you can get a money job when you're young, money job when you're young. You get the money, you put it away, the money grows by itself. Also, you don't have responsibilities. You don't have a family when you're young. There's so many reasons I believe that money while you're young, and then lifestyle and satisfaction when you hit your 30s and your 40s and your 50s. I'll put this out there. It might be right. It might be wrong. Wherever you are in your age, you think that you're really enjoying life. So, if you're in your 20s and you say, I really, really, really want to enjoy it. Okay, I know you think that, but when you hit 40 and 50, you start thinking back and saying, man, I'm 40 and 50 and I really, really, really want to enjoy my life now when I'm 40 and 50 or 30. And then you start looking back and you say, man, I wish I had got the money when I was 20, so now I can enjoy my life in retirement. Over and over and over again, all the retired people I talk to that hate their retirement because they don't have money say the same thing. I wish I had worked when I was younger instead of partying when I was younger. I know you feel like you're going to miss out in your 20s and stuff like that, but look, this is only my recommendation and the recommendation of everyone who doesn't have money in their retirement. If you have to focus on one thing, let's focus on working really hard when you're young so you can chill and love it when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Often we work our entire lives, our entire career to create a good balance of this triangle. All right, let's take a reaction video to the guy who created this part of the lesson, right? Let's listen to him say it, we'll react to it.
It's a pretty good market for college grads coming in, but it's...
No. It's not a pretty good market. He made this before 2020 COVID shutdown. It's a rough market for college grads right now getting a job. Unemployment is back up. So it's tougher than ever right now to get a job. Unless you're watching this years in the future, you time traveler. But if you're anywhere around 2020 through 2024, it's a tough time to get a job.
Never good when you're the one trying to find a job because it's really hard.
It
Here's
is
the
tough.
thing about jobs. There are three forces that are at fundamental war with one another all the time. There's the job quality, the job satisfaction, the inherent attributes of the job. And that is, are you working on something fundamentally important and meaningful? Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you working with people who you can really like and respect?
That's the job satisfaction part of the triangle.
Is the culture something you're very comfortable with? All the inherent things about the job. That's one aspect. Then there's money, of course. Compensation sometimes is at very much odds with something that is genuinely meaningful or creative or fundamentally interesting. And how do you weigh the differences between looking to make the kind of money that will help you pay back student loans, much less live the lifestyle you want to live? And actually, speaking of lifestyle, that's
the second aspect of the triangle, which is money. It's a really good exploration into economics at least a second or third level, college level, of why money, satisfaction, and lifestyle. What are the different forces that create one to go up and one to go down? Very complicated.
the third dimension, lifestyle. Lifestyle is where you want to live and where you want to work. How much your work schedule is in your control of your work schedule. How much flexibility to take vacations? Do you have to commute? And how were your actual hours? So if you think about those 3 points in what I call the career triangle, job satisfaction, money, and lifestyle, it's relatively easy to maximize one point on the triangle, and it's often okay to maximize the second, but usually the third point slips. So you're interested in the law, and
Now he's going to give some examples. I didn't give examples because I thought I'd let him do it. He's the expert.
you get a good job in a law
Well, he's the originator.
firm, and you're making good money. But you know what? You have to work weekends, you have to work 90 hours a week, or you're fundamentally interested in the financial markets, and you're really into deals, and you're working on lots of different things, and also good interest, good money, but terrible lifestyle. Or, you know what? You played college tennis, and you love tennis, you love teaching, and so you're really a tennis pro, and you have a great flexible lifestyle, but it's hard to make money that way. Or you're passionate about the environment, and you get this great opportunity to work for a not-for-profit. So you have a good lifestyle, you're working on important things, but you're not making money. At least recognizing that there are trade-offs is really powerful. And what I like to say is you can have it all, those 3 dimensions, but not necessarily at the same time.
Yeah, see, I remember that, right? You most likely won't have it all right away and possibly never at the same time. So I'm just remembering his own quote. That's how you know it's a good quote, if I just remember it without even looking it up.
It's certainly not in your first job or 2 or 3 coming out of college. It's okay to be honest with yourself, to say, what are the most important things to me now? And by the way, over your life, when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, when you're raising a family, the weightings on those 3 points can and actually will shift. And actually knowing that will help you make good career decisions.
See, that's what I was saying. The weightings of it shift. When you're younger, I'm saying maybe the money's more important because once you have a family and once you get a little older, you might want more lifestyle and maybe more satisfaction, okay? So understand what you want, what's best for you at what time.
Over the course of your career. People graduating in 2016 and 2017 are going to likely work for 15 or 20 different companies or organizations over their career.
Stop that. People working in the private sector, people working for companies might work for 10 or 15 different places. If you're working for the government, you're probably going to get into 1 or 2 jobs or related jobs for the rest of your career. Okay, so I don't agree there, and I have the numbers to back myself up.
And the key is just getting started.
There you go.
And not waiting or trying to get perfection. And if you keep those trade-offs in mind and kind of consciously know what you're moving into, then at least you're getting there. Now you know that the first thing you do will actually have massive downstream effects because who you get exposed to, what brand you get affiliated with, who you meet, and what you actually are working on, that will become kind of the basis of your next job and your next job and your next job. So yes, it is very important, but at the same time, it's too easy to get paralyzed looking for perfection versus just getting in there, and your story will evolve.
I'm going to take that idea. This is what I did. I took his idea of the first job being important, and I'm going to make something from it coming up after this. So your first 5 years, I'm going to make something. He just said it was important and had a lot of downstream effects. I'm going to show you what I did with that sentence in a few minutes.
Based on what you're doing. And it's important to you to kind of control your career narrative. It's like, here's why I did this, and here's therefore what I learned, and here's what I'm looking for.
It was a fantastic 4 minutes. That's fantastic. It was literally the basis of this whole lesson. I don't know about the guy's other stuff, but man, that was good. Props to him. So to finish up with 2 pieces of advice for entering into the job field. Number 1, I think I like this one. Do what you're good at. I think that solves a lot of problems. And quite frankly, if you're doing what you're good at, so many doors for advancements are going to be opened up, okay? And if you do what you're good at, you're going to get paid. If you do what you're good at, you're going to get respect. If you do what you're good at, like even if you don't like the job all that much, if you do what you're good at for a while, you're going to have options to move on. And if you don't move on, at least you can be satisfied in knowing that you have confidence at your job based upon performance, confidence based upon reality, because you're doing what you're good at. And the second piece of advice is for your first 5 years, work hard. Work hard when you're young. There's really nothing that can go wrong. Think about what could happen if you work hard in those first 5 years. Number 1, it could give you a lot of experience and a lot of training. Because remember what he said? Your choices at the beginning of your career have a lot of downstream consequences. So I take that and I say work hard, because you will make choices of working hard and it will ensure that you have a lot of good downstream consequences. You're going to get a lot of experience by working hard, and you're going to get a lot of training, which is going to set you up better than the people who aren't working hard at your same age. You're going to get ahead of them. You're going to open the doors. And maybe working hard for the first 5 years is going to give you a lot of money. Maybe you're in a position where working hard is going to give you a lot of money. And I'll tell you what, if you're in a position where working hard is going to give you super extra money for 5 years, you can set yourself up for life by saving the first 5 years of your salary. You save the first 5 years of your salary and you're done with retirement savings, okay? The reason is no one does it. And because no one does it, the world is set up that if you do it, you can win. So if you've got a job that pays and you work hard for your first 5 years, you can be done the end after 5 years and you will be set for retirement. Then you just coast until retirement and you'll have all the money you need. That's if you have a job that gives a lot of money when you work hard. If it doesn't give you a lot of money, you're still working hard, you're still getting experience and training. The bottom line is work hard. I have never met an older person near retirement that says, wow, I worked so hard right out of high school. I worked so hard in my 20s and I regret it. That doesn't happen. The phrase, I wish I worked less hard in my 20s, I have never heard that said. For the first 5 or sometimes even 10 years. I've heard plenty of people say, I needed to take my foot off the gas when I was in my 30s or 40s. Okay, I've got stories about that. Remind me. But for those first 5 or 10 years, it's a badge of pride. I have that badge of pride. I'll tell you my 18-hour days for 2 years, working 18 hours a day, 2 years at my pizza calzone shop, right? I look back on that and said, I can do anything now. Hours worked. Someone complains about a 13-hour day. I'm like, please, I did 18 hours a day, 5-6 days a week for 2 years. I look back on how hard I worked in my early 20s and mid 20s as a badge of pride. I've never heard anyone say I should have worked less when I was in that younger time. And it's because it gives you the experience, the training, or it gives you a lot of money. And you know, you're gonna have to work hard sometime in life. You can't have your dreams if you don't work hard sometime. So you might as well work hard while you're young and then enjoy it while you're older. Look, you can do it the other way. I'm just saying the largest percentage of everyone I talk to likes it the way where they work real hard in their 20s and enjoy the rest of their life. That's literally everyone I talk to. It might be different for you. Good luck. And if it is different for you, email me. I'll put you in a story someday. All right. Thanks for watching.